Items are the heart and soul of Mario Kart. I'm talking the green shell, the mushroom, the bullet bill. All familiar faces, but with each entry in the Mario Kart series, subtle changes are made to the items we know and love to balance how they fare in a race. Today, I'm going to be ranking every change to the returning items in Mario Kart World, using a tier list on a scale of Giga Nerfed to Giga Buffed. Let's not waste any more time and get right into it. So starting us off, we have the coin. This item is unchanged from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. When you use it, you get 2 coins. However, because we can hold up to 20 coins in Mario Kart World, and assuming that the speed boost from each coin was changed proportionally to the new limit, the coin item in Mario Kart World is only half as effective as the coin item in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. In case that doesn't really make sense to you, in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, each coin gave you a speed increase of 0.5, and this was really overpowered. You were getting way more speed from your coins than you could ever get from your character or kart choice. So in Mario Kart World, when increasing the coin limit to 20, it makes more sense for them to halve the effectiveness of each individual coin to 0.25 speed, so that the amount of speed you get from coins is still the same at the max amount, but each individual coin matters less. This would mean that when using a coin item in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and it gives you 2 coins, you get a speed increase of 1, but in Mario Kart World when you get 2 coins, you'll only get a speed increase of 0.5. That sounds pretty terrible, right? But I'm going to be placing it in slightly nerfed tier, because judging by the gameplay that we've seen of Mario Kart World, it looks like there's a lot less coins to pick up on the track, and the focus is getting your coins from items like the coin shell and the coin block. So getting a coin item in first shouldn't be entirely useless. Next we have the green shell. Hit stun is nerfed like globally pretty much in Mario Kart World. Like green shells, red shells, bananas, you get propelled forward when you get hit now, so hit stun in general is just worse, so that's already a nerf to the green shell. The other thing is now that items auto trail, and the pack tends to be very close at the beginning of a race. Like if you imagine, like in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you have Wario Stadium. Everybody is driving right on top of each other. If you trail a green shell, you are hitting somebody with it and you're losing your defense. And so what most players do in that situation is they don't trail their item and they instead wait until there's space between them and the person behind them, and then they'll trail or they'll hold on to it and save it for defense. But because the items automatically trail now in Mario Kart World, we can't really save it for defense anymore. You're going to lose your green shell immediately at the beginning of a race, and that's going to leave you vulnerable. So we'll put green shells in nerfed, and then for triple green shells, you could argue that if they actually work in Mario Kart World, that's a buff, but Nintendo is notoriously bad at making that happen, so for simplicity's sake, we'll just keep it next to the single green shell in the nerfed tier. Onto the red shell. This one's in the slightly nerfed tier because people losing their green shells at the start of the race will actually play into making the red shells better, because there's going to be more people without defense at the beginning of a race that you can red out. Assuming you don't also lose your red shell to auto trailing the same way that you would lose your green shell, because I guess that could happen too. But another reason that I would put the red shell in slightly nerfed instead of nerfed is that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, red shells are extremely laggy, and they often hit the player behind you if you're too close to them. So you actually need to be really spaced from the player behind you if you want to red the guy in front of you, and that's really annoying, because most of the time you want to hit the guy in front of you, not the guy behind you. Another thing is that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it's really easy to break red shells on walls by drifting into them, and that doesn't seem to be a thing in World, at least not yet. The blue shell. This one's interesting because the tier it lands in is entirely dependent on if the feather and the dash food can actually be used to dodge the blue shell. So my early assumption is that the feather cannot dodge the blue shell. I already made a YouTube short on that. You should go check it out. And the dash food, knowing that there's 3 tiers of food now, I'm thinking that the first tier, which is the only tier that you can pull in first, that gives you the really small boost, won't be able to dodge the blue shell. And then it's possible that the second and third tiers that give you more like a mushroom boost will be able to dodge it, or maybe you just can't dodge it at all with the dash food. As far as hit stun goes, this is actually one of the items that didn't have its hit stun reduced. So relative to items like green shells and red shells in Mario Kart World, the blue shell actually hit stuns the player for way longer. Also, something people used to do in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was not trail their defense items in first, so that if they got hit by a blue shell, it wouldn't break their trail and they'd still have the item in their hand. But now, because items auto trail, when you get hit by a blue, you'll always lose your defense. So for that reason, I think it's pretty safe to put the blue shell in slightly buffed, even if there's new ways to dodge it. The banana. So everything that needed to be said about this one was already covered when we talked about the green shell. You're more likely to lose it at the beginning of a race, and the hit stun is reduced, so it'll also be landing in the nerfed tier. along with the triple banana. The mushroom, easy buff tier. This item is so good now. The boost you get from mushrooms in Mario Kart World is so fast, and it looks like it has so much more impact. Like in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, if you used a mushroom on a straightaway, you catch up a little bit, but in Mario Kart World, you use a mushroom on a straightaway, you're just flying. It is crazy. But do you know what's even crazier? That we're about to put our first item in the Giga buff tier, because that is where triple mushrooms rightfully deserve to sit. You can pull triple mushrooms really close to first now, and because mushrooms are so strong in Mario Kart World, you can reliably get into first with mushrooms left over to dodge a blue shell with. And there's 24 players now, so that means there's going to be a lot more blue shells, so you're going to want to be holding on to those mushrooms. I low-key think the triple shrooms being this good will make bagging still a valid strategy on lap 6 of Knockout Tour. You just drop back to 4th real quick, get your hands on some triple shrooms, and you pretty much just win. Then we have the golden mushroom, which is easy giga buffed. The golden mushroom honestly deserves its own tier above giga buff. Like, that's how good this thing is. This item is so insane. They're so common now. Golden mushrooms are so common now. You can get a golden mushroom and use it from the back and catch all the way up to the front. It'll be like Mario Kart Wii. Like on Coconut Mall and Mario Kart Wii, if you pull a golden mushroom at first set, you're in first and you're allowed to run the race. And running on Coconut Mall is so powerful. There's going to be tracks like that in Mario Kart World where you're going to want to just pull a golden first set and then just run the whole race. Like, you get a free ticket to first. You didn't need to start in first. You didn't need to get a draft. You didn't need to hit the guy out of first. You pulled a golden and now you're allowed to run and you're gonna win the race. That's how good the golden is. In Knockout Tour, you can just simply sit in the back, get a golden, hang on to it until the last 10 seconds of a race or so, and just gun it past everybody, and now you're advancing to the next round, and it's impossible for you to lose. And even if you get hit, you're goldening, so, you know, you just keep goldening, you know, just shroom back up to full speed. It is so good. The Mega Mushroom. So there are some big changes to this one. In Mario Kart Wii, which was the last time we saw the Mega Mushroom, when you used it, it would free up your item slot, so you could use a Mega before an item set and get a new item. In Mario Kart World, the Mega Mushroom stays in your item slot for the entire duration, and because we can hold 2 items in Mario Kart World, that's not a huge issue, but where you would see it become an issue is if you pulled like a Mega Mushroom with a golden behind it, you wouldn't be able to use your golden until the Mega fully runs out. One change to the Mega Mushroom that I think is really good though, is that when you get shocked now, you stay big. So in Mario Kart Wii, if you got shocked while you were in a Mega Mushroom, you would revert to normal size. But now, if you get shocked while in a Mega, you stay big and you can keep going through off-road. So you can't be target shocked in the off-road anymore while using a Mega. So I think because the Mega Mushroom is a dodge item, and because you can now safely go through the off-road with no risk of being shrunk back to your normal size, it's not a huge deal that your items can get trapped behind it until it runs out, so I'll be putting it in slightly buffed. Next, we have the Feather. So even though I don't think this item can dodge the blue shell, I still think it's been buffed a considerable amount compared to previous iterations. Admittedly, I don't know much about how the Feather played in Super Mario Kart, but in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it was a battle mode exclusive, and it didn't make you jump very high, it was kind of underwhelming. It was good on some courses, but the new Feather in Mario Kart World makes you jump super high. You can jump over red shells, you can jump over off-road and take shortcuts. There's Feather exclusive routes built into the track design. I don't think it'll take long at all after the game comes out for people to find some good spots to use the Feather to take big shortcuts, so this item will be feeling pretty strong, I think. The Fire Flower. This one might be controversial because I know a lot of people think that this item has been nerfed because the amount of throws you get from one Fire Flower was lowered from, I believe, 14 in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to 7 or 8 in Mario Kart World. But I actually think it's been slightly buffed, and I'll tell you why. The fireballs are way bigger now, and they also travel way further. So even with half the throws, it's still going to be considerably easier to hit people with the Fire Flower than it was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. The Boomerang. Oh, this is our first item in the Giga Nerfed category. The Boomerang, oh my god. So, start with the changes. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you could throw the Boomerang 3 times. Now, you can throw the Boomerang a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 4 times. So if you spam it, if you throw it immediately as it comes back to your hand, you can get 4 throws. But if you wait patiently, you only get 2 throws. Usually, with a Boomerang, if you're trying to hit players, you're waiting to line up your shots. So you're probably going to get 2 throws instead of the 3 that we had in the previous game. So that's already a nerf in cases where you want to use the Boomerang to hit people. Now here's another nerf. When you want to get rid of the Boomerang, in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you just throw it, it leaves your item box, and you can get a new item. In this game, the Boomerang stays in your item box, so you need to throw it 4 times to get rid of it. If you have a golden mushroom behind your Boomerang, that golden mushroom is now held hostage until you can get rid of your Boomerang. And the only way to get rid of it is to throw it 4 times, because like I said, if you're spamming it, you get 4 throws. So it's not even 3 throws. It's not even you just have to throw it 3 times. You got to throw it an extra 4th time. So then the extra 4th throw is really working against you there. So this item just all around horrible changes, and it's really bad now. The star. This guy's giga nerfed. So the star was the best item in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. One of the best items in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Because I think it's pretty fair to say in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe the best item was the shock. But you wanted to have a star. You wanted to be the guy dodging the shock. So a star was just super good because it was fast, it was common, you could reliably get one, and then you could use it to either plow through the pack, you could use it to predict a shock and dodge. Now, the star is very rare by the looks of it. All of the gameplay I've watched, you barely see anyone pulling stars. They just seem so rare. And now they're slow. Like, you used to drive so fast in a star, and it would also make your mushrooms go faster when you're in a star, but it just looks so slow now. And also, because the shock is nerfed, which we'll get to later, it makes dodging less effective. I just don't think you want this item anymore. I just don't think it's as good as it used to be. The super horn. This is an easy one. There's only one change to the super horn, and it lands it in the slightly nerfed tier. When you use a super horn now, it stays in your item slot a little bit longer. So in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, when you use the super horn, it would leave your item slot pretty much right away. Now in Mario Kart World, it needs to finish its animation before it leaves the item slot. So if you're trying to get rid of the super horn to get a new box, you need to use it a few seconds earlier to make sure it's actually gone from your item slot before you hit the box. The lightning. Honestly, the lightning actually does have some positive changes, or maybe not so much positive changes, but the lightning is not as bad as people think it is, but it's still bad enough that it needs to be in the giga nerfed category. So positive changes to the lightning is that there's seemingly only one now, which means that when you hold the lightning, you are way more powerful because nobody else can shock it out of you. Another positive change is that now the lightning is completely hidden. Because this game is like Mario Kart Wii and it doesn't show your items to other players, nobody knows that you have it. So they're not trying to hit you, they're not trying to predict it, they have no idea. So that means you have all the power. The problem is, it's way less effective now. So the shock only shocks people that are in front of you, and it also shrinks them for less time, like a lot less time than it did in previous games. The initial hit stun of the shock is way stronger, it completely stops them, but they're just not shrunk for very long. Also, the fact that it only gets people in front of you, there's going to be a lot of people dodging behind you and they'll still have items. And so I think the impact of the shock on the front is actually relatively similar to previous games, because the guy has shock in like 17, there's 7 people behind him that are dodging that shock. And so you're going to have 8 people coming up on you with powerful items because they dodged, they still have their items, everybody lost their items. And so if you're in the front, like, you're going to feel the effects of the shock the same way that we always have. But the user of the shock is not going to get as much out of it because they essentially dodge the whole room. You can't really use a shock anymore that doesn't dodge at least a good chunk of people, unless you pull it in 24th. But I feel like most of the time you won't be using the shock in 24th. All things considered, all changes to the lightning, it's still just a huge nerf compared to the previous games. The blooper. This item should honestly have its own tier at the very bottom, because who wants to pull a blooper? But I suppose the removal of underwater sections and the removal of the piranha plant means there's less ways to clear the blooper, so it is technically slightly buffed in Mario Kart World. Another thing I'd like to mention while we're on the topic of the worst item in the entire game is that in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, most bloopers actually came from the Crazy 8 item, because the blooper itself was extremely rare. So if in Mario Kart World they increase the pull rate of the blooper due to us not having the Crazy 8 item anymore, that could actually be pretty annoying. The Bob-omb. This is a definite buff for one simple reason. You can't blow yourself up anymore when trailing it. So in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, trailing a bomb was really risky because if you got redded at the wrong angle, you would blow yourself up. If somebody ran into your bomb, you would blow yourself up. Now that doesn't happen anymore, so you can actually safely use the bomb as a defensive item and also as a scare tactic. Because if someone sees you trailing a bomb, they're going to be giving you all the space in the world. They're going to be like very careful because they don't want you to drop that back on them. Or, you know, maybe they'll be trying to blow it up, they'll be trying to throw items at it and stuff, and it will actually protect you without blowing you up this time. So the bomb is definitely buffed. It's a huge buff for the bomb. The bullet bill is giga nerfed. I don't think anyone's arguing with this one. This item is so bad now. It is incredibly slow, it doesn't hit people anymore, and it doesn't last long. They nerfed it in every single way that they could. The bullet bill was really hard to avoid in some sections in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, if someone was in a bullet bill and you're on the S turns of Neo Bowser City, like, you're getting hit, there's no avoiding them. If you're on that anti-gravity U-turn on Cheese Land, like, you're getting hit, there's no avoiding the bullet bill there. Now, it's just gonna push you out of the way. It's just gonna give you a slight nudge. I actually don't like how nerfed the bullet bill is because it should be like a powerful item. It should be an item that catches you up from the back. And to be fair, from the gameplay I have seen, when the bullet bill is used very far in the back, like, it is still slow, but it lasts for a a good amount of time. It's just, if you smuggle a bullet bill into a high spot and use it in a high spot, it looks like they totally nerfed the efficiency. Like, it does not last long at all. Bills in first last longer in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe than bills used in like the middle of the pack in Mario Kart World. So yeah, this is just unfortunately giga nerfed. We may find a way, once we get to play the game, to make it better. We might find bill extension spots like there was in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I think as it stands, the bullet bill is just in a really bad spot. The final item on the list is the Boo. There's two key changes to this item that land it in the nerfed tier. Number one is that other players can now see you while you're in the Boo. You're no longer completely invisible. That definitely makes Boos less annoying to play against because they won't be stealing your box from you anymore without you even seeing them. And then the other change to the Boo that makes it significantly weaker is that it looks like it lasts for about half the time that it used to. One of the best things about the Boo in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was just how long it lasted. If you used a Boo when you thought a shock was coming, you had a really high chance of dodging it because of how long you were invincible for. But now in Mario Kart World, it looks like even the Mega Mushroom lasts longer than the Boo. Did the Boo item need a nerf? Yes. Did it need to be nerfed this bad? Probably not, but that's where we are. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and here's one more look at the final tier list. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with these rankings, or do you disagree? I'd love to know. And if you're as hyped as I am for Mario Kart World, make sure to drop a sub, because I have so much more content coming your way.